Andrew Mclendon, and I'm one of the founders of Pancakes UGA. So one of my friends, Davis Jackson, who I'm in a house church with, really should get credit for starting Pancakes, but he heard about a news article from Georgia Tech where a gunman had been shooting up campus, and one of the people they interviewed was a guy in their business school who was homosexual, and he said that the only thing he could remember about Christians other than this guy, that they were the people who gave out free pancakes on a Friday. So we really ended up copying another school's model for giving out pancakes to people. So doing something like this is kind of hard. You know, it's like you said, it's at midnight. You're giving up a Friday night. So we needed people who were as committed and passionate about doing this as we were. So it was really just grassroots, word of mouth, where we would tell one person, they would tell another person, and we would put it in a group message, and then we would end up pulling in like-minded people who really liked to go downtown and have a positive influence on the group that we were trying to interact with.
Andrew texted me and he said, "Do you want to go to this this event?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." And so I ended up going. So Pancakes on Friday night was my first time being downtown in Athens at night, and it was really overwhelming and intimidating at first. With there were so many people, and a lot of people were talking to other people, and it was just loud and confusing. But after I got the hang of how things were rolling, I ended up loving it.
So last September was the first time we started, so just over a year that we've been getting the ball rolling, and at this point we feel like we've got a good rhythm to it. So, you know, about 9:15, 9:20, we'll gather up either at my house or at David's houses or at this one place called Christian Campus Fellowship, and we'll boil a big pot of coffee for everybody, and people will arrive about 9:30, and we'll make pancakes from about 9:30 until about 11, and we'll make about 400 to 600 pancakes in that time, depending on the downtown traffic that's expected, and then we will spend about 30 minutes cleaning up. After we clean up, the most important part of the night probably starts. We have a meeting where if anybody's new to Pancakes, we explain what our heart is, what our mission is, we get everybody on board. We open up the Bible, we open up the scriptures, and we look for inspiration from God for the night and what we feel like His heart is for the night and overall. And then we end up spending time praying over each step of the process for Pancakes and over the hearts of ourselves and over the hearts of the people downtown. And at the end of it, we're really just giving up to the will of the Lord that He will do whatever He wants to do in that time. And then we end up closing out, and we end up going downtown for about an hour and a half, giving out the pancakes until they're all done. Giving out pancakes, it's really, really late at night, you know, sometimes 1:30 in the morning. People are always asking, why in the world do you do this? And that's really the question we're waiting for. And so when people ask, why in the world would you give out pancakes this late? Why would you give them out for free? It becomes an entrance into a conversation where, well, we're just a bunch of people from a bunch of different ministries who believe that God loves people. People love pancakes, so hey, here's a free pancake. And because it's not a transaction, because there's no cost associated to it, it's not like, hey, have a pancake but listen to my 5-minute talk about who Jesus is. You end up walking into authentic conversation with people who haven't put walls up because they know that you're an authentic person who actually cares about them. There's actually a lot of people who think we're wasting our time. It's kind of funny, inside of ministries or inside of Christian circles, we get the question all the time, well, why aren't you evangelizing? Why aren't you taking this a step further? Why aren't you defining lives for the kingdom? But what we would say is that we're just following the call that the Lord has put on our lives. We can't do something that God hasn't called us to do. And what He's told us, and what we feel like He's told us, is that our job is just to open those doors. If people, instead of having a negative interaction or a negative sentiment towards Christianity, have a positive one, it opens doors for other people to have conversations later on down the end. So if we're not the ones who have that final conversation that brings the person to Jesus, then that's out of our hands. That's in God's hands, that's in the Spirit's hands, and we're not going to judge ourselves based upon how many people we rack up or some total that we're comparing ourselves to. We're just trying to walk faithfully to what He wants us to do. It's really, really hard to do it week in and week out, to give up like every single Friday, and we're tired because we've got a bunch of other things that me and Davis do and all the other people scrounging up people every single week out of the desperate to do it. But what really motivates us more than anything is that we really feel like we have a calling to do this for this time and this season in our lives, that if we're not going to be downtown doing this, then who will? That was what all of it was birthed out of, was that there was no Christian presence downtown other than the so-called hate preachers that are downtown. And so if all people are ever getting is this narrative that, you know, that you're not loved, that you're not good enough, that you can't possibly live up to a standard, then they're going to be pushed away from it. And if that's the narrative they're getting from Christianity, then that narrative needs to be countered with something. It needs to be countered with God gives love unconditionally. And so we're going to be here, rain or shine, giving out pancakes every single week for free because that's a symbol of how much God loves us.